Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's DocuNav webinar for DocuNav Forms. My name is Richard Ortiz, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at DocuNav Solutions. I'll be your moderator for today's session. We appreciate you taking the time to join us as we walk through one of our proprietary platforms. Really exciting to show you guys what it is, how it came to be, and how it can possibly help your organization. Today's session is going to be led by Brian Horton, who will walk us through all the amazing developments that we've made in improving the platform from its inception to where it is now, and where we plan on going, and what that could mean for you and your um, organizations. So as we move through the presentation, please feel free to type your questions into the Q&A panel at any time. I'll be monitoring the chat throughout the session, but as I mentioned, everyone will be muted for now. And then at the end, we'll cover as many questions as possible to answer any of them. And we'll be happy to also follow up with you after the webinar if there's anything that wasn't covered today or we didn't have time for. A quick reminder, today's session is being recorded. This will be uploaded to the DocuNav YouTube channel, so we can put a link in the chat here shortly so that you have access to that, and that way you can revisit the content or share it with colleagues who were not able to attend. Again, thank you for joining us. That being said, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Brian, who will be uh, talking about DocuNav Forms.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Richard. And as you guys can see, I'm sharing a screen here. So we'll go through some slides, and then I'll do kind of a live walkthrough of the platform. And then, like Richard said, we'll be able to get to questions at the end. Again, thank you for the handoff there, Richard. So going into the presentation, again, my name is Brian Horton. My official title is Senior Project Manager, Product Services, but I effectively am the product manager. I am in the product services team within our solutions department. And I've been with DocuNav for a little while now. I recognize some of the names in this call, so you've most likely worked with me on a project here or there. I've got, as it says here, about 10 years experience in project management, certified PMP, all of those things. But kind of moving along, it's kind of time for the shameless plug of product services, because there's some people that may not be familiar with what we do, or you guys have a product services team. So I just really wanted to give a good intro to product services as our team, and then what we work on and how we partner with customers on different products and things. So starting off, what is product services? So we have a few products in-house that we support and we develop and have developed. Some of these logos on the screen, a few of you may recognize. Some big highlights, you've got like Applicant HQ. This is like an ATS system for HR. It integrates with Gallup surveys and interview stream, and saves things to ECM such as Laserfish. Big advantage, you have access to your data, and that's kind of a theme with a lot of our products. Today we're talking about DocuNav Forms, which we're going to kind of go through a lot of that detail, so you'll see that in a little bit. Geodocs is an example of integrating GIS data and layers with Laserfish or other ECMs, and seeing a geographical representation of your repository. DocuNav LinkQ is like a custom API integration that we partnered with Skyward on, and as a customer, if you get DocuNav LinkQ, you can have access to it. It saves you time in development because our team had already put in the effort. And then little small widget things like DocuNav Quick Link, where it's kind of a direct search into your repository, and you don't even have to be in Laserfish. So we've got some really cool ideas. We got some cool products out there, some of which you may not have heard of, but a lot of this comes from a lot of input that you guys give us, but really our core functions is we take the ideas we receive from customers and internal ideas, and we build out the design, we build up the solution, um, and then we deliver on these solutions. So we make, from the design phase to building it out, wrapping it up into a product, and then we deliver in the product services department. We deliver these solutions, um, which would include installing it on your server or setting you up with hosting and installing an application. Or for DocuNav forms, it would literally just be turning on your portal and working with you on what forms you'd like in your portal. So where do these products come from? I kind of alluded to it, but really it's you. It's you as the customer, and a lot of the user stories we receive or requirements that came out of another project that it was a bit of a gap, but we need to look at some unique custom solution to do it. It could even be issues and feedback. So, you're like, man, I submit a lot of tickets to DocuNav about this thing, and there's just not a good solution within the Laserfish platform itself. So, our team, our product services team, we could get with you, get some requirements, build out a solution that fills that gap. But that's really what product services is about, is delivering products to you guys that can fill some of those technical gaps. What does our development look like? So if we have these ongoing products and we're developing, so we usually have a development phase where we're working on specific user stories or backlog items that have been that weren't rolled into the last update. We'll do that development phase, and then when we get to our testing phase, is where it gets interesting in that we can start folding you guys in as customers. So our phases of that would be like a pre-alpha, which means there's not a lot of features implemented yet, and we're kind of rolling implementing features and testing them, and it's more of an internal team testing. But when we get to alpha and then ultimately beta, we can start folding in customer testers and let you guys break the product, tell us what issues you're seeing, or even like, hey, it'd be nice if this thing did that. And if we can roll it into this release, then it could be part of the product that ultimately you buy, or and you may see something you suggested in alpha show up in beta as a feature, and you get to test the feature that you suggested. So really cool stuff, and then ultimately go live. So those that are existing, this could be like an upgrade phase. We may have to migrate some data. Like for instance, what we're talking about today, forms. This is a really big forms update. So we'll be working with our current customer group to bring over their data, make sure their forms are showing up fine, getting all their portals up. But anybody that's net new in January is going to have a fresh new portal. It's going to have the new UI, and we'll just be working through our typical onboarding phase. So next thing is, okay, Brian, stop talking about the department. Okay, let's talk about what we all joined this meeting for. So DocuNav forms. So kind of to tell the story a little bit, and in the next few slides, but like I mentioned, a lot of these things come out of what customers have come to us and requested, or come out of issues that we've seen, or just limitations in the platforms that we use every day. So moving into DocuNav forms, and if you see in the top right here, this is just a little demo video. This is on our YouTube channel, so feel free to scan the QR. Let me know what you think of the video. But DocuNav forms itself, the problem. So customers that came to us and made these requests, they were looking for a scalable solution. So something that they weren't tied down necessarily by like user licensing, or do I have to have a full team to support this product? That's a big blocker for a lot of customers. They needed a platform that could be flexible with the systems that they're using. So does it integrate well with different API endpoints with different products? Can you combine data from SAP with data from you know uh, an SIS like Skyward or whatever? Can you cross those streams and maybe use both data sets in different forms and in different data tables? And then outside of that, being tied, committing to one platform is great because you can really, uh, you know, distribute, have everybody using it in your organization and everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid. But at the end of the day, it's a forms platform that's still tied to your given product, whether that's Laserfish or Highland On Base or even Google Forms or things like that. It's tied to that brand, and they want you sticky. They want you staying in your lane with their product. So we developed a solution that could integrate with all of those, with some of those, with if you only need one of those, you can really look at your technology umbrella and see how we can start folding in some business process management stuff in a forms format um, into your umbrella so that it's almost a central location to manage those things that we deal with every day, um, and all the forms and things that need to happen. So we heard all these things from our customers, and they're like, we really need a platform that could fill these gaps. And DocuNav Forms became it. So we built an original version. It's mobile friendly. It's web based. We can customize logos and stuff like that. And the original version, which is still live today and customers are using, um, and because the new version isn't out till January anyways, it has a lot of the inherent base features and it accomplishes everything that's from this previous slide that we talked with customers on. But this next version were things that we heard from our current customer group, from internal testing, from just generally receiving feedback. And yeah, so again, if you do scan the demo video in the top right, it does give you a little bit of a preview before we get to our full demo. But yeah, no per user license fees. The only tier or kind of not consumable, but thing that you purchase is you have a certain number of forms that you can activate in your portal, and then the next tier you can activate more, and so on. And if you are interested in knowing what those tiers are, just consult with your sales representative, or CSM, such as Richard, who's on our call today. And then the last kind of big piece of this solution is there's a powerful API integration layer in that it works like a hub, and we can plug different connections in. So we can make calls to, like I was mentioning, SAP or Skyward or what have you, but it could be anything that you would want an API integration with for your forms processes. So we just need to kind of talk about it, see what you need, and then that'll be part of your portal onboarding. Okay, so kind of moving forward, generally, as you would expect, it's called DocuNav Forms. Forms are typically business processes that are handled via paperwork or something like that. So this is a pretty logical progression of events that happen. But user submits the form. There's logic that routes to different approvers. Then that approver either approves, rejects. The initiator can get feedback, or you can set up any kind of email alert or whatever you'd like as part of the process. And then ultimately, if you need it saved somewhere, but you don't have to, it can just live as data on the platform and you can reference that data, no problem. And we'll talk about it when we go through the demo, but you can have it saved to your repository. And as far as options and things that we've integrated with today, Laserfish, OnBase, SharePoint. We have some folks that have chose to go all SharePoint because, like, well, we really don't need the power of Laserfish or OnBase, but we just wanted things in SharePoint. Or you could even do like a hybrid where you have your core records that you got to manage retention and security around in Laserfish, and then you have your picnic form or something in saving to SharePoint or something like that. There's lots of flexibility in this platform, so you can kind of pick and choose where things go. And that was, of course, one of our big design pillars. But yeah, so right now with version 2 of the product itself, we're coming to the end of pre-alpha. So what does that mean? Most of or all the features are complete and they're usable. You can, the focus is on the concept and really the core functionality, but it could be a little bit rough. You could have a 404 page where you're just denied service, or there may be bugs that might crash. So that's the testing phase we're in, but we pretty much have all the core features enabled. So we're going to be moving into alpha and then beta testing and then go live eventually, just to, like I mentioned, the rollout cadence that we run with our products and product services. So in alpha, you could expect that all the features are there, but there may be some bugs here and there. There may be some weird UI or really, I think the big thing we see is UX. A lot of the experience of if I click this and then I hit the X button, it reroutes me to a weird page or something like that. That's what you would expect in alpha. And then beta would be a lot of those things have been refined, and we're going to find like if there's a little bug here, a little bug there kind of thing. Some issues that take a little deeper testing. So if you guys do want to register, I'll have another QR code here in a second that you'll be able to register for alpha and beta testing. Alpha, expect a lot of things to be a little bit rough, but you could whatever phase you'd like to be part of, we'd love to have your feedback. So okay, so now the fun part. Let's jump into the platform. So go ahead and pull it up. Give me 1 second. We'll start from the beginning. Okay, so this is the login screen. You have, of course, your typical forgot password. You can remember your login, things like that. Go ahead and log in. So this is the main screen of DocuNav Forms version 2. So there's a few things right out of the gate. So you see it puts us on a dashboard. So on your dashboard, you're going to have your tasks. So you have, if you're part of like me, I'm part of a product services team. So I had a task assigned to me. So I could open up, the actual form or task that I need to complete to approve. You see just your team, or you can see all your tasks. Awesome. You see recent activity of submissions, potentially approvals and rejections. You see the main banner here. It gives you an alert here of how many pending tasks. Just kind of a nice thing. When you register for the portal, you get first and last name, so it feels very personalized. Good morning, Brian. At the top here, we've got light and dark mode. We also have a notifications area, which this notification will show your tasks that you need to complete. And it's really not super useful here, but as we move along, you can always access those things you need to complete. So that's sort of the dashboard area. Also, we'll see you can, as a tenant, you can customize what you want this to say. You can customize your logo, a little description. So that's kind of neat, and we'll see that customization here in a second. So next is arguably the most important area, is all your business processes and all your forms. So you have a starter form area. It's organized into cards. We call them cards, and these are all the forms that are enabled for your portal. So any one of these, whether it's a document upload form, which some of you may be familiar with, this is a way that we can get documents into your content management platform via a form. You know, really it comes down to whatever forms you want to build here. This is a form that when you scan the QR code, you'll see I've made public. This is the registration for alpha and beta. Our forms are dynamic. You can, based on selections, it can populate different fields and things. You can also, you have to, this is only allowed to be numbers, right? So it has to be an actual phone number. All these things are really nice to have. If you has to be an email, and it can verify that it is an email. Things like that. So kind of going back to our starter forms page, you have all the ones that you want enabled, and you can change the colors. So say we want to look at, configuring student absence note. You can change the form name. You can add a description, yay webinar, right? We can change the card color. You can add a tag, like what is it? Student services. Right now it's student service, but you could add, what if it's on base or whatever tags you decide you would like in your portal. You can also create your own tags to kind of organize it for your team. So save changes. Great. It says yay webinar. But what's great about the tags too is that, up here, if you're like, I don't want to see all the finance forms, like I got to fill out, travel approval stuff or do my expenses. I just want to see the student services stuff. See what? See, well, we're in pre-alpha, so the tag filtering didn't quite work, but yeah. Anyways, kind of moving on. We'll go ahead and note that one. Yeah, so you can search for forms. So if I want to search for, mini user group, something like that. If I know the form name, I can do a search. Also, something to note is you'll be able to manage your public forms. So say like I wanted to make this one public. You guys probably saw this, but I can toggle it on and off. So if I want my SB 12 counseling services form public, I'll go ahead and save that. Great. Let's go ahead and go to the public portal. So these are all the public forms, and you can see this one is now public, right? Again, with the QR code, you'll be able to access this form. So all I did was just make this URL a QR. You can embed this in your websites. You can put this wherever you need it. So yeah, interesting. As far as the public portal, and then of course you can change the card color and everything, but that's done within the portal here. So now, I have all these forms. I need to be able to track, submissions that have happened and potentially audit it. Here's where you can see all these submissions. So you can see ones that say like I filled out. So let's go ahead and pull that up, right? We can, one more thing I do want to show you here is, find it. Fake submission. Okay. Just how the drafts work, so So 1, 2, 3. Great. So let's go ahead and just save it as a draft. Okay. So I don't want to just click it. You can still take it directly to the draft, but now on my dashboard, I have a draft, right? So I want to add a 4, right? I'm just saving new versions of the draft, right? So that's also, the feature you would expect, but that's how drafts are managed here. And then if you're done with it, you can just delete it. It's gone. From the submissions area, you can see just generally, submissions that have been submitted. but you can filter by a date. So, anything that was, in this date range, you can organize it that way. So yeah. So moving on from submissions, we have users. So this is where you can start adding some of the users or inviting them to join your platform. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can do it as just an individual, so great. Right? You can invite the user, it'll send them an email and a link that they can complete and set their password. Or you can do bulk invites. So if you have a whole team or a lot of folks that need to be in this platform, then what we did is we built a sample CSV that you could use. So then pull that up, I'll show you. Okay, so right now it's first name, last name, email. That's all we need to register. But say put me on here. Great. So let's just go ahead. Bulk invite. Choose that file. Open. Verify. So you see, you can verify the list of folks you want to invite, and then let's say, hey, this looks great. Go ahead and invite all. I'm not going to click it because I'm already there, and I'm pretty sure John Doe may be there in our testing environment. But once you send invite all, it sends the same email that an individual user would receive. So then you would see those members show up here. So then now you start building your user base at your organization. Well, let's start splitting them into teams. So in this case, you build a team like webinar team. Great. People. Oops. And webinar. There you go. And you can start adding members. And then they'll be populating the team. Then they can start being part of your overall business processes and so on. So now you have all these submissions, you have all this data that has been collected by these forms processes. So, how do I get that data out? So if we look at an example, we'll just do new package idea contest. So we had a contest for new package ideas for our laserfish packages, and this pulls in all the data from a given submission. So what does that do? Now I can just of course distill down what I want to see by using dates and search and filters, but I can extract this data from the platform as a CSV. Great. This is all the data from those submissions. So you can use this for your own dashboarding. You can use this for any kind of data analysis you need to do, especially maybe on the HR side, you have applicants or something, they're using a form. You can see all that information today. This is live. This is as those forms are filled out, the data is populated in the database. So you can extract that data and use it however you need it. And this is organized by different forms. So, test fake submissions is something, of course, we've been hammering because we're testing the platform, but you see the fields changed. And even some of the list fields that you have checkboxes and things, they'll populate here in that format, and it won't be like a JSON or something. It won't be like whatever. And then when you extract it, it won't show these boxes or anything, but you'll still have the data. So, so it's your data. Access it when you need it. You're not going to have to request us to export it for you. You'll be able to just handle that on your own. One key thing to mention is that all the forms that are ever built in this platform become available in our form library. And that also means that you can select from, right now we're at 200, almost 250 forms in our library. there may already be something that you need here. Like, there was a really cool vendor information packet for, right? And you're like, wow, I really like that. And then we just rebrand it for you. Change some of the information, of course, but, drop downs of where vendors can fill in different information, including things like, the financial institution stuff, and we can require, have be certain number of digits, their agency, um, yeah, even uploads. So any of the attachments that go and save to whatever endpoint you would like them to, they are associated via a form submission ID. So you know that this W-9 goes with this form submission. Everything gets saved as a PDF. So the final resting place of these documents will be in a PDF format that you can use and distribute as needed. Yep. So we can walk through together if you're interested in seeing, kind of talking about what is in our library of forms. Just get with your sales representative, and we can set up a meeting and kind of talk about it. So in settings, just to round out our little tour here, you can change the name up here. We change the description. So if I go, great, go ahead and do just a quick refresh, and we change the little description here. You can upload your logo, like whatever logo you want here. Just know that it's better if it's a square, because it'll work better in all the situations that the logo shows up. But if it's a rectangle, it just may stretch it a little bit. But you can change the logo as needed as the tenant admin. So go ahead and just change this back. Great. Okay, so that generally, this is DocuNav Forms, and this is the new UI. I personally like dark mode. I know that most of our team does. Everyone's kind of moving this way anyways, but yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll just show you to go ahead and log out. Great. So just to kind of finish up the presentation today, if you would like to be part of the alpha and beta testing, and really, you don't have to have this product to be part of it. You don't have to purchase it. We appreciate any and all feedback, and we know that you guys are working with your own business processes, and you want to leverage things in different ways. So the more feedback, the better from different groups. And if you'd like to register, go ahead and scan this QR code. This will take you to that public form, as I mentioned. So you'll be filling out a form in our new DocuNav Forms version 2 platform, and just submit. And then when we are getting close to the very end of pre-alpha, I'll send out an email to the folks that want to be involved with instructions on the alpha and beta testing timelines and process, and what sort of test cases we'd like you guys to run with. And yeah, we just really look forward to any and all testers. Don't feel like it's a commitment. It's whatever you can do. So if it's 1 hour a week, if it's I got on one time and I broke this, we'd love to hear that you broke it. So yep. So if you want to, for those of you that have already scanned, we'll see those submissions come through, and you'll be part of that distribution group. But yeah, just join us if you can. And then now, now it's time for questions, and I think we've got a fair amount of time. So if you are interested in hearing more about the product too, go ahead and scan that QR code, and that'll send you to just a little on our website. It's a little form that you just fill out, and we'll get in contact with you. So with that said, go ahead and open it up to questions.
You can raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or if you have anything, you can feel free to type it in the chat. Also, just to kind of recap one of the things that you can do with your CSM, right? You can reach out to us and let us know if this is a program that you're curious about or and want to know more about what that would look like using DocuNav forms. We can set up a call as well where you can even browse the inventory of the forms that we've built so far. Brian, I don't think maybe I missed it, but did you share how many forms we have in our library that partners can kind of browse to get ideas of maybe how they can improve their processes, things that we've already seen successful with other partners?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, our library is getting close to 250 forms, and it's ever growing as we create more and more business processes. And it could be internal processes like stuff we use, which you guys may need and find interesting, or it's ones that we've worked together with your teams to build out. So yeah.
And while I'm waiting to see if there's any more questions, feel free to ask away, guys. Um, can you kind of talk about some of the differences between like how this might compare to other forms platforms, especially for those that don't have an ECM like Laserfish or OnBase?
Sure. So I mean, most are probably familiar with Google Forms, and that's just an example that I'll pick on. But Google Forms is really great if you live everything within Google. Um, it's very lightweight. It's something that is easy to build on, so on. But what if you want it to save in different platforms? If you want it to integrate with data from your ERP or what have you, that's where you start hitting limitations. And of course, as you build out your environment in Google, things tend to get more expensive. So as you expand and get better versions of Google Forms or any of the dashboarding things or whatever, it just adds uh, another cost. So this platform is just rolled up into one, and it's ever growing. And as these updates happen, it's not like you have to repurchase it or anything. It's just going to become new features that you have available. So,
Nice. Eddie from Colleyville was asking, can the forms integrate with third-party applications? Do those third parties have to be a business partner?
no, not necessarily. So ways you can integrate is maybe a first place to start, Eddie. So that would be we can do via API direct connection to something. And if you have a platform, say it's a open source platform, and it collects data for you in one way or another, and it has an API, we can connect to it. But other options exist, like if you export data out of a given platform that doesn't have an out of the box API or something, then what we can do is bring that, say, in a handshake, like a SFTP or something. You export the data in a probably CSV. We can pick up that data and populate a custom table and leverage it within any form that's in our platform. And that'll just be part of your tenant's custom tables. So other things, are really interesting because we're not necessarily a partner with GSA, the department in Texas, Texas state government, but we hit API endpoints for their per diem tables. So they're dynamic, and you can select breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the right value is in the field based on zip code. Um, but what GSA didn't do is make a table that distributes mileage rates. So they just publish new mileage rates for the next year. I think it's typically like 10 days after the 1st of January, or it varies. When you get that notification, we also built a process that you can manage what the mileage rate is. And that way, when your team fills out expenses that were the end of last year, but they might go into the next year, for one reason or another past that change in rate, it'll calculate accordingly. So that's an example of a non-partner data access. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question.
That's a great question. Yeah, I was actually just thinking about the GSA tables as well. Not seeing anything else on here.
And thank you, Eddie. That was a good question.
He's also asking what the hosting options are.
So this is hosted by us. This is a cloud web-based platform. So as out of the box, we don't offer an on-prem solution. We can work with you if that is a requirement, and see what that can look like. That would be a kind of deeper discovery discussion. But hosting, this is fully hosted. We stand up your own tenant. It's standalone. You have kind of an explanation of how the hosting works is you have a core group of services, different applications that roll up into this web application. And then each tenant has their own unique databases and everything quarantined in their own container. So it is, for all intents and purposes, your own hosted version of DocuNav Forms. Hopefully I answered that too, Eddie. If you have any additional questions, just let us know. And if you don't get everything answered, also, you know who to contact. You can always send me an email question as well. I'll get back with you. So.
Yeah. Can you share some examples of like how the non-license is a benefit, like what we've seen with some of our partners?
Sure. So, I mean, right out of the gate, that kind of creates a scalable scenario for your organization. So, whether it's 10 people are in this platform, or you want your entire city or school district or organization to have access, there's no per user license fee. So, and we can organize all of your users into different teams and departments and whatever you need for your approval processes. So scaling it to that level with that many users, it makes sense. We also have public submissions, as you guys see, and if you're going to join us for that alpha and beta registration, which I'll go ahead and just put that one on the screen again, because again, I'd have a little more feedback. And Eddie, if you want to join us, please register. But yeah, a way it's directly helped some of our customers is that they bought X number of user licenses for a forms platform, and they need to scale, but they don't want to have to all that overhead and license fees and stuff. So we've offboarded them off of their current platform and brought those forms in. So example, like Laserfish forms, we have a direct conversion tool that can, if you have 100 forms, we can convert them all over, kind of button up the approval process back end of your forms. And then you can have what you were using in Laserfish within DocuNav Forms. So what that does is all those licenses and stuff that went into the Forms platform that you used to be on, there are no user licenses in DocuNav Forms. It's only by the number of forms that you have. Because at the end of the day, it is usage of a server, and we have to account for that. But the tiers are pretty economical, and for most folks, tier 1 or tier 2 cover your basis. But you may have way more forms than 25 forms. So if you want to make it enterprise 400, 500 form platform, we'd love to help you, and we can scope out what that looks like. So.
Well, it seems like this one was a little bit more straightforward. I'm not seeing a lot of questions. You were pretty thorough with all that. So just want to recap that everything that we shared with you guys here today is being recorded. We'll share that on our YouTube, DocuNav YouTube channel so that you guys have access and can share this with anyone that missed it. Again, if you have any questions later on that come up that you forgot to ask here today, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be more than glad to answer. If you want to see a demo of specific functionality, we can definitely set up a call with you guys as well. And hopefully some of you will scan the QR code, do some alpha beta testing, give us some feedback. We really want to make sure that everything that we build makes all of you happy and continue to improve our products and services. If and let this be a testament to kind of what Brian shared initially. We do have a development team. If you are in search of a solution and already have things in place, even things that we're already supporting for you, like Laserfish or something else, and for whatever reason that solution still isn't, even with our help, isn't meeting what you need, let us know. We're more than glad to um, have our developers work with you to do some alpha and beta testing to, come up with some custom solution and see how we can help you. That being said, hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Hope you guys have a wonderful break next week. I'm sure most of you will have some time off for Thanksgiving. Uh, with even that being in mind, we're so thankful for you all um, giving us your business, trusting us um, with your teams to allow us to work for you and serve you. Super, super proud to be a part of this team that's um, just really trying to make the best impact that we can. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.